Wow, okay. You weren't kidding about wanting to do a deep dive into AI.
Yeah, I figured we'd go all in.
Seriously, this is impressive. Articles, research papers, interviews. You've got interviews with like every major player in the AI game, CEOs, founders, investors.
I wanted to get a broad perspective, really understand how this AI revolution is unfolding.
Well, mission accomplished on that front, but where do we even begin with all this information?
I think the first thing that jumps out is this sense of urgency.
For urgency.
Yeah, like this isn't just some tech trend that you can sort of ignore.
More like a tidal wave.
Exactly. Like Jack, the CEO of Sandbox AQ, puts it, AI or die.
AI or die. Whoa, that's pretty strong language.
He's not mincing words, that's for sure. But he makes a compelling argument. He's basically saying that any company, any country that doesn't embrace AI is going to be left behind.
Left behind, meaning?
Economically, strategically, you name it. It's not just about efficiency anymore. It's about fundamental changes in how we create value, how businesses operate, even how we define work.
So it's not just hype. This is a real fundamental shift.
Exactly. And it's interesting because this same sentiment is echoed by Ruth, the president and CIO of Alphabet and Google.
Okay, so Google's obviously a major player in the AI space, but what's she saying about it?
She calls it a generational opportunity, emphasizing its potential to create massive economic growth.
That makes sense. But this AI or die thing, what does that actually mean for someone who isn't, a tech giant or a government? What about the average person listening to this right now?
It means we all need to pay attention. Like, this urgency isn't some abstract thing. It has real-world implications.
So what, we all need to learn to code or something?
Not necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but we do need to start thinking about how AI is going to impact our own careers, our industries. Like, are you already seeing any signs of AI disruption in your field? Are you prepared to adapt your skills, your knowledge, to thrive in this new environment?
Okay, so we need to be adaptable, but what exactly are we adapting to? Let's get specific. How is AI actually showing up in the business world right now?
Well, Travis, the founder of Uber and CEO of Cloud Kitchens, he gives some pretty interesting examples. He talks about how AI is already transforming businesses, giving larger companies a significant advantage.
I read about his company using robots in their kitchens, like AI-powered robots, even giving them personalities. That's wild.
It is, but it also raises some questions about, what happens to the human workers.
Right, where do they fit in? We'll definitely have to dig into those ethical questions later, but for now, let's focus on this business side of things. So what's Travis saying about AI and profitability?
He emphasizes that even small changes, like automating certain tasks or using AI to optimize workflows, can have a big impact on a company's bottom line.
So even if you're not building robots, AI can still make a real difference.
Absolutely. And it's not just limited to, the high-tech world either. Ben, the co-founder of the venture capital firm A16Zs, he points out that even sectors that were traditionally considered slow growth, like developer tools, are seeing explosive growth thanks to AI.
So this AI wave is going way beyond Silicon Valley.
Exactly. It's a ripple effect that's going to touch every industry imaginable.
So no matter what you do, AI is going to be a part of it.
That's pretty much a given at this point.
Well, it sounds like we're all going to need a crash course in AI then, no matter what our job is.
Well, that's kind of the point of doing this deep dive, right? To help you make sense of it all. And speaking of making sense of it all, there's this whole concept of specialized AI that I found really fascinating.
You mean like those AI savants that Eric, the former Google CEO, was talking about?
Yeah, exactly. He predicts that within the next 5 years, we're going to see these AI assistants that are like experts in very specific fields. Imagine an AI that's a world-class physicist or a legal scholar, a master chef.
Like a team of superpowered experts at your disposal.
Pretty much. Except Eric also cautions that we are really not prepared for the arrival of such powerful specialized AI.
So it's exciting and a little bit scary at the same time.
Definitely a bit of both. He compares it to like a sudden acceleration in the rate of progress, a shift in the slope of technological advancement that we just haven't seen before.
Okay, so we've got this AI or die pressure. We've got businesses scrambling to adopt AI to stay competitive, and we've got these super specialized AI savants on the horizon. That's a lot to take in.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So where does this leave us? What does it all mean for the average person trying to navigate this crazy, fast-changing world?
I think it means we need to start thinking differently about what skills and knowledge we need to develop. Like, what makes you uniquely valuable in a world where AI can do so many things faster and more accurately than humans can.
So it's not enough to just learn how to code or whatever.
Right. It's about understanding how to work alongside AI to augment our own capabilities,
Okay, that makes sense. But there's still so much to unpack here.
We've only just scratched the surface.
I need a minute to process all this.
I know, it's a lot.
But we're just getting started, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We still need to talk about this thing called quantitative AI, which is totally different from this language-based AI we've been discussing.
Quantitative AI. Okay, I'm intrigued. And what about AI and creativity? We touched on it briefly, but I'm really curious to learn more about that.
We'll dive into all that and a lot more in the next part of our deep dive.
This is already mind-blowing. I can't wait to see where this goes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already. This whole AI or die thing, the impact on businesses, and the rise of these specialized AIs.
It's a lot, right? And we're not even close to done yet. Remember that quantitative AI I mentioned?
Yeah, that really piqued my curiosity. What's the difference between that and, the AI that's writing screenplays and composing symphonies?
Well, think about it like this. Those large language models, They're amazing at understanding and manipulating language, but this quantitative AI, or LQMs, as Jack from Sandbox AQ calls them, it's a different beast. They use equations and data, to model and understand complex systems.
Equations and data? So it's more like hard science than creative writing. Where does this quantitative AI really shine?
Think physics, chemistry, material science, fields where the fundamental laws of nature are expressed in mathematical equations. LQMs can analyze huge data sets, find patterns, even make predictions based on those underlying equations.
So less about crafting the perfect sonnet and more about crunching numbers to solve really complex problems.
Exactly. And Jack gives some really interesting examples, like Sandbox AQ is working with a big pharmaceutical company to use LQMs to speed up drug discovery.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's not just theoretical. There are real-world applications already happening.
Absolutely. They're also working on solutions for the hydrocarbon industry,
Yeah.
like optimizing extraction processes and making them more efficient and sustainable.
So they can help tackle climate change too.
Potentially, yeah. But here's the thing. LQMs and LLMs, they're not competing. They're actually complementary, like different tools in a toolbox, each one best suited for a specific job.
Gotcha. So it's about choosing the right tool for the job. Like sometimes you need a hammer, sometimes you need a screwdriver.
Exactly. And that's where the true power of AI lies, in combining different approaches, using the strengths of each type of AI to solve these really complex, multifaceted problems.
Makes sense. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk about AI's role in the creative world. We often think of creativity as something uniquely human, but it seems like AI is making some serious inroads there too.
It really is. And Shih, the CEO of TikTok, he offered a really interesting perspective on this. He talked about how AI is already powering TikTok's recommendation algorithm, which is obviously a huge part of its success. But he went deeper, explaining how AI tools can empower creators, help them express themselves more easily, explore new styles, even overcome their own creative limitations.
He actually shared a story about how he uses AI tools himself to get past creative blocks. That's so cool. So it's not about replacing human creativity, but augmenting it, giving artists new tools and possibilities.
Exactly. Imagine, AI can help you brainstorm ideas, play with different visual styles, even compose music or write poetry. It's like having a creative partner, a brainstorming buddy, constantly pushing you to try new things.
And this idea that AI could empower millions of people to become creators themselves, that's incredible. It's like democratizing creativity, making it more accessible to everyone. But it also raises some questions, right? Like, what about the potential downsides?
It definitely does. As with any powerful technology, there's always the potential for misuse. Which brings us to a really important conversation: responsible AI development.
Okay, so we've talked about the amazing potential of AI, but we also need to be mindful of the risks. I remember Eric, the former Google CEO, expressing some pretty serious concerns about the proliferation of AI, especially in sensitive areas like biology.
His concerns highlight the importance of really thinking through the potential consequences of AI, the biases that might be baked into algorithms, the potential for things to go wrong, even with good intentions.
So it's not just about preventing bad actors from using AI for harmful purposes, but also about anticipating those unintended consequences, building systems that are robust, fair, and transparent.
Exactly. Ruth from Alphabet. She emphasized the need for those AI for good initiatives, for ethical guidelines, for responsible regulation. We need to ensure that AI is used to benefit society as a whole.
So it's a shared responsibility then. Policymakers, researchers, companies, individuals, we all need to work together to make sure AI is developed and used ethically.
Absolutely. It's not just about writing code. It's about having those tough conversations, asking the hard questions, and holding each other accountable.
We've covered a lot of ground here, but there's still one piece of the puzzle I'm really curious about. All this amazing software, these incredible AI models, they don't run on thin air, right? What about the hardware?
That's a great point. We can't forget about the hardware that makes all this possible. It's like having an amazing recipe, but no kitchen to cook in.
Okay, let's talk hardware then. What's powering this AI revolution? So let's talk hardware. What's the engine driving this AI revolution?
Well, you can't have all this incredible AI software without some serious horsepower to run it on.
Makes sense. So what are we talking about here? Supercomputers, data centers the size of small cities.
All of that plays a role. But there's one company that's really at the forefront of AI hardware: NVIDIA.
NVIDIA, like the graphics cards for gaming.
The very same. It's kind of a crazy story, actually. Those graphics processing units, or GPUs as they're called, were originally designed to handle the complex visuals in video games. But turns out that same kind of parallel processing power is perfect for the massive number crunching that AI models require.
So it was like they accidentally invented the perfect tool for AI.
You could say that, but NVIDIA, they saw the potential and really doubled down developing GPUs specifically for AI. And their CEO, Jensen, he's a visionary. He doesn't just see GPUs as chips. He sees them as the foundation of a whole new approach to computing.
I remember him saying that AI isn't just about a chip, it's about a whole new way of thinking about computing. What did he mean by that?
He's talking about this thing called accelerated computing. It's not just about the GPUs themselves, but the software tools, the data centers, the whole infrastructure that's built around them.
So it's like an entire ecosystem, not just a single component.
Exactly. And Jensen believes that this accelerated computing platform is a fundamental shift from the way we used to do things. In the past, we were always trying to make individual processors faster and faster, But with accelerated computing, it's about leveraging the power of thousands of specialized processing units working together, all at the same time.
Okay, so it's less about one super powerful engine and more about having a team of specialists, each tackling a specific task.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And it's this shift in thinking that's really fueling the AI boom. We're finally reaching a point where the hardware can keep up with the ambition of the software.
That's pretty amazing. But let's be real, no technology stays on top forever. What about the future of AI hardware? Is NVIDIA going to rule the roost forever, or are there other contenders emerging?
Well, even Jensen acknowledges that the AI hardware landscape is constantly evolving. There are definitely other companies out there developing their own specialized chips and architectures for AI. It's going to be interesting to see how things shake out.
I'm already feeling a little bit overwhelmed trying to keep up with it all.
It's a lot, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the excitement, right? We're witnessing a technological revolution in real time, and it's touching every aspect of our lives.
We've certainly covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. The urgency of AI adoption, the different types of AI and what they can do, the ethical questions, the hardware. It's been quite a journey.
It really has. And we've only just scratched the surface.
That's what's both exciting and a little bit terrifying about all this, isn't it? We're just at the beginning of the AI revolution. Who knows what the future holds?
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to stay informed, to keep learning, and to engage in these conversations. The future of AI is not predetermined. It's something we're all shaping together.
Well said. I want to thank you for taking the time to break all this down for us. This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive.
My pleasure. It's been great exploring this with you.
And to everyone listening out there, thanks for joining us on this journey. We hope you found it informative, thought-provoking, and maybe even a little bit inspiring. The future is unwritten, and each of us has a role to play in shaping it. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and most importantly, stay curious. The AI revolution is just getting started.